morning. Thank you for joining my class. I am Shankhonayan Chattopadhyay and I am currently pursuing PhD in Mathematics at the Indian Institute of Technology, Ropar, and I am one of your PMRF TA for the course Engineering Mathematics 2. And as you all know that Professor Jitendra Kumar is the corresponding faculty instructor, and I will take this online interaction class from 6 to 8 every Sunday. So please join with me. So first I will say about some of the course content, and then I will proceed. Okay. Okay, it is a bit rigorous course as it contains different topics of engineering mathematics. For example, it contains calculus, it contains complex analysis, it contains numerical analysis, and some sort of Fourier and Laplace in transformation techniques and all. So I hope that together we will learn some basic concepts along with some with these problem solving sessions, and it will be helpful for you for your upcoming certification examinations. So without a delay, let's proceed. So here I will first this first class will be some sort of like basic interaction class, and here I will discuss some basic problems, some basic preliminary problems, and from next week and onwards I will focus on the syllabus contents. Strictly I will follow the syllabus contents. So as you all know that Engineering Mathematics 2 is a continuation class for Engineering Mathematics 1, and I hope that you all are familiar with some of the basic concepts of Engineering Mathematics 1, and this course will be beneficial for you guys when you will appear for the examination. Okay, so please stay connected with me. So these questions are very basic questions. These basic questions I will discuss, and then I will discuss about the solutions. Okay, so without a delay I will start from the last question, that is the question number 20. So question number 20, it contains, you all know, hope you are all familiar with multiple integrals. So question number 20 is a particular example of triple integral, right? Because there are three integration involved, and you have to evaluate this question where x belongs from -1 to 1, y belongs from -1 to 1 minus x square to 1 minus x square, and z belongs to minus square root of 1 minus x square minus y square to square root of 1 minus x square minus y square by 1 plus x square plus y square plus z square dz dy dx. Okay, so the limit for x, these questions are all for your recapitulation purpose, and from next class onwards you will learn about gradient, divergence, and all these concepts. Okay, Stokes theorem, line integration theorem, Green's theorem, all we will learn from next class. So the main motivation of today's lecture is to make you familiar with the basic concepts that will be required for solving calculus problems. So this is question number 20, and it tells us about computing the triple integral of -1 to 1, -1 to 1 minus x square to 1 minus x square, -1 to 1 minus x square minus y square, where z belongs to -1 to 1 minus x square minus y square to 1 minus x square minus y square, and the integral is 1 by x square plus y square plus z square dz dy dx. So without a delay we will solve. So see, this is the question 20, that we have to solve the integration minus 1 to 1 minus 1 to 1 minus x square to 1 minus x square minus 1 to 1 minus x square minus y square to 1 minus x square minus y square dz dy dx by x square plus y square plus z square. Now you know that this integration is in Cartesian coordinate, right? Okay, I hope that you will respond. Still my voice is not clear. Is it clear now? Hello? Is it clear, Krishnaswamy sir? Okay. So if you solve it by using Cartesian coordinate system, it will be very much complicated for you to solve, right? So that's why we will transform the coordinate system into the corresponding spherical polar coordinates. So our first task will be to use spherical polar coordinates and then to transform the equation, this integral, into its corresponding form in the polar coordinate system, right? So here I have simply written the required spherical polar coordinate system. And what is that spherical polar coordinate system? This is x is equals to r sin theta cos phi, y is equal to r sin theta sin phi, and z equals to r cosine theta. Okay, so it is the spherical polar coordinate system. If you want to learn about the geometry and all, you can just search in the Google and you will get plenty of stuff about the geometrical interpretation of such coordinate transformation. So now we all know, since the original integration is in the Cartesian form and you are using the spherical polar coordinate transformation, so you need to determine the Jacobian. So there is a expression for Jacobian. If you are not familiar, I am just typing that what is Jacobian, how to determine it. Jacobian of spherical polar coordinates. See, here you will get a glimpse of about the Jacobians. Okay, so this is the expression for determining Jacobian in polar coordinate system. So you have to determine the determinant del x y z upon del r del theta del phi. And what you have the expression for x y z, just put it there, you write the corresponding matrix and determine the determinant. The absolute value of the determinant will give you the corresponding Jacobian. See, here I will give you one or two examples of Jacobian. See, here x equal to rho cosine phi and y is equal to rho sin phi, right? So what is happening here? So just del xy del rho phi. So first take derivative of x with respect to rho. This is rho cos phi. You will simply get cosine phi. Here the derivative of rho cos phi with respect to phi, you will get minus rho sin phi. For rho sin phi, you will get sin phi. And then once again, if you take derivative of with respect to phi, you will get rho cos phi. So this, if you take the determinant, you will get rho cos square phi plus rho sin square phi, and cos square phi plus sin square phi is equal to rho. So this is nothing but rho in the polar coordinate. But if you move in the 3D, so there will be, instead of two or four elements in the matrix, 2 by 2 matrix, you will get a 3 by 3 matrix. And if you take the determinant of the 3 by 3 matrix, you will get r square sin theta. Okay. So here the Jacobian will be r square sin theta, and it is your home task to determine this Jacobian on your own. So x equal to r sin theta cos phi, y equal to r sin theta sin phi, z equal to r cos theta. Determine the Jacobian, you will get r square sin theta. Now since x is this, y is this, and z is this, now you have to replace this function dz dy dx, and this function dz dy dx in terms of dr d theta d phi will be replaced as r square sin theta dr d theta d phi, just absolute value of the Jacobian and dr d theta d phi. Okay, just the absolute value of the Jacobian and the dr d theta d phi part. Now there is one important aspect of taking limit. So when you have to fix the limit accordingly. So r will vary from 0 to 1, theta will vary from 0 to pi by 2, and phi will also vary from 0 to pi by 2. And actually this theta varies from 0 to okay, I will just give you one more example. Spherical polar coordinates. Okay, so radial distance here r, in our case r varies from 0 to 1, and theta that varies from 0 to 2 pi, 0 to pi, and phi varies from 0 to 2 pi. But since the function is an even function, so phi we are considering in shift of 0 to 2 pi, we are multiplying it with 4 and taking the limit from 0 to pi by 2, and theta similarly varying from 0 to pi, we are writing pi as 2 into pi by 2 and taking 2 outside the integral. So 4 into 2 will give you 8, and here r square will cancel one another. So there is first you determine integration dr, and if you integrate dr from r equal to 0 to 1, you will get 1. So next you have to integrate. So there is only one left. From first integration you will get only 1. Now from 0 to pi by 2, theta equal to 0 to pi by 2. Now you have to have just separation of variable, use the variable terms in separate way. So 8 into phi belongs from 0 to pi by 2 d phi, and sin theta d theta. Integration of sin theta d theta is minus cos theta. Integration of sin theta d theta is minus cos theta. Phi is varying from 0 to pi by 2, and theta is varying from 0 to pi by 2. So just if you simply replace it, so 0 to pi by 2, phi will write 8 into pi by 2, and minus cosine theta you will get 1. So 8 into pi by 2 into 1, you will get 4 pi. So the required answer for the question number 20 is 4 pi. Okay, so any queries or any doubt regarding question number 20? Any doubts, any queries about question number 20? I request you, please, the 2 or 3 people who joined, to please respond at least, so that I can understand that you are connected with me. Okay. Arpita, is my voice clear right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next we will move to question number 19. And what is question number 19? We have to use the triple integral to determine the volume of the solid bounded by z equal to y equal to 1 minus x square and z equal to 0. So all these question 17, question 18, question 19, question 20, all these questions came into IIT Ropar examination, in end semester examination, and I have taken directly from there. So solving these questions, you will get a blend of how IIT, how the question comes in examinations of IIT. So you will get a mixture of that also. So question number 19. So we have to use okay. So question number 19. Using triple integral, we have to evaluate volume of z equal to y equal to 1 minus x square, z equal to 0. So the volume we have to write means in terms of volume integral. So what does this volume b is equal to? X equal to minus 1 to 1, y equal to 0 to 1 minus x square. Just limit is you can get here that x, the limit of x, you put this 1 minus x square 0. Okay, how it comes? See, z equal to y, so the limit of z is 0, so y equal to 0, and y equal to 0 will give x equal to minus 1 and 1, because y equal to 0 we will put here, you will get 1 minus x square equals to 0, and 1 minus x square equals to 0 means x equal to minus 1 to 1, and the limit of y is 0 to 1 minus x square, and the limit of z is 0 to y. Now just put dz dy dx. So first dz dy dx, if you integrate dz from z equals to 0 to y, what you will get? You will get y. And next you have to integrate y dy. If you integrate y dy, you will get y square by 2, and that y varies from 0 to 1 minus x square. So if you write this 1 minus x square, take this half outside the integral, this becomes 1 minus x square to the power whole square, and 1 minus x square whole square dx. So 1 minus x square whole square, that means 1 minus twice x square plus x to the power 4. So v equal to half minus 1 to 1, 1 minus 2x square plus x to the power 4 dx. So b equals to, now it is a even function. So since it is a even function, we can write this integration from minus 1 to 1 as integration 0 to 1 and multiply it using 2. So 2 into half, it will give us integration 0 to 1, 1 minus 2x square plus x to the 4 dx. You just take the integration, so that is x minus 2 by 3 plus 1 by 5. This is just the integration. Okay. Now you have to just take the addition, subtraction and all of fraction, and if you just solve this addition, subtraction of fraction, you will get v equal to 15 minus 10 plus 3 by 15. So v equal to 8 by 15. Okay, so the answer for question number 19, is the question for this is 8 by 15. Okay. Now question number 18. Question number 18 is, by changing the order of integration, we have to evaluate integration 0 to 1, integration 0 to x, e की power minus x square, e की power minus xy, y square dy dx. Okay. So by changing the order of integration, we have to evaluate integration 0 to 1, 0 to x, e की power minus x square xy, y square dy dx. Now this changing of the order of integration is very much helpful for us when you cannot determine the integration by using the original order. So there is one theorem called Fatou's theorem, and using that Fatou's theorem you can actually okay, someone wants to join. Okay, so when there is a bit the original integration, it becomes difficult, so then we just change the order of the integration so that we can easily determine the corresponding integration, right? So in my YouTube channel okay, Okay, this is my YouTube channel. You can search here and you will get the previous last time I have also taken TSC regarding engineering mathematics 1. So Sonkho NPTEL TSC, this is my YouTube channel, and here you will get the playlist of engineering mathematics 1. So I strongly recommend you people to please at least go through that channel where I have discussed all these things, that how this order changing using the changing of the order and all, you can actually solve the integration more effectively. So question number 18, I am this question number 18. Okay, so this is okay. Hello Abhishek. Hello. Yeah. Good evening. How are you? Okay. Thank you for joining, Abhishek. No. It's perfectly fine. Thank you for joining. Okay. And also Abhishek, please respond. Okay. Okay. So by changing the order of integration, we have to evaluate 0 to 1, 0 to x, e to power minus xy, y square dy dx. So I varies from 0 to, first we have to solve this integration. So how we will solve it? So x varies from 0 to 1, we will just change the order of the integration. So here how, this is the triangle which we want to solve, right? So how we will solve? Here the limit of x is from 0 to 1 and y from 0 to x. We will write in the reverse manner, that is x varies from 0 to 1 and y varies from 0 to x. So x varies from 0 to 1, y varies from 0 to x. We will write using the change the order as y varies from 0 to 1 and x varies from y to 1, right? So we have just changed the order. So here previously the x was varying from y was varying from 0 to x and x was varying from 0 to 1. Now we have just changed the order and we are writing as y varies from 0 to 1 and x varies from y to 1. So if you just use the substitution, this integration becomes much more easier. So now just write it as integration y 0 to 1 y dy so integration y dy x equals to y to 1 e to power minus xy. So to manage this minus xy term, we will write it using integration, that minus y dx. So if you just write minus y dx, it can be written as d of minus xy. Now if you take that thing, it can be written as e to power minus xy, this step, and e to power minus xy, x varies from y to 1 and this is y dy. So e to power minus xy, if you just put the limit, you will get e to power minus y minus e to power minus y square y dy. So now minus y 0 to 1 y e to power minus y dy plus y equals to 1. This minus and minus makes it plus y e to power minus y square dy. So y e to power minus y plus e to power minus y is the integration of this integration. Next you have to integrate this part, you will get minus half e to power minus y square 0 to 1, because minus y square, this integration is minus 2y dy, and to manage that minus, here this minus comes, and if you solve this integration, you will get 3 by 2e minus half. Okay, so you will get 3 by 2e minus half. Okay, Abhishek, is this question clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for today also I have some questions. Yes, Kotandran sir.
It's mentioned the answer there.
Okay. Also don't worry, I will upload the notes in the NPTEL TMI portal. Okay. because last time also I uploaded the notes, this time also I will upload the notes. Okay, the answer is 3 by 2e minus half. This is the answer. Okay, 3 by 2e minus half. Is it clear, sir? Okay, next we have question number 17. Question number 17 is also an integration, multiple integration. So this, the main motive of today's class is to make you familiar with the concepts. From next class now on, we will strictly follow the syllabus, and this class is a preliminary class, and this class is just a continuation of engineering mathematics 1, because engineering mathematics 2 is a continuation of the last class. So to make you familiar with the concepts and notions, I am discussing these problems. Okay, because in engineering mathematics 2 you will also need to solve multiple integrals or Stokes theorem and all. So here last time we have solved two volume integral, one surface integral, multiple double integral. Here also we will solve one double integral, but the domain of integration, D is the triangle, and that triangle that having vertices 0, 0, 1, 0 and 0, 1, right? So next move to it. Okay, so we have to evaluate this problem, that integration is dy plus x e to the power 1 minus x by y plus x dx, and d is the triangle that has vertices 0, 0, 1, 0 and 0, 1. So here this is a simply you have to use substitution. And what is the substitution? Just put u equal to y minus x and v equal to y plus x. If you take u equal to y minus x and v equal to y plus x, determine the Jacobian, you will get the Jacobian to be minus half. Now while and the domain of the integration will be changed into v equals to 0 to 1 and u equal to minus v to v. And if you just put the values of y minus x and y plus x, this integration will reduce to 1 by v into e to the power u by v, and that modulus will be modulus of minus half, and modulus of minus half is nothing but half. So just take this half outside, your integration will become v equal to 0 to 1, u equal to minus v to v dv e to the power u by v. Why? Because this 1 by v, if you write this u by v, you can d of u by v is nothing but du by v. So if you integrate this u by v in terms of u, this v will cancel, and then you will only get e to the power u by v, u varies from minus v to v. Then once again take limit, and if you just instead of you put v and minus v, then you will get it from here e minus e to the power minus 1. So this is e minus e to the power minus 1 and half, that will give you half into e minus e to the power minus 1. So this is the answer. The answer will be half into e minus e to the power minus 1. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I have some of the questions regarding date, Abhishek. I hope that you will solve these questions, because these questions, and I will be there. Okay, in the last week, since it is a problem solving session, so I have some of the problems which you need to solve. So these 4 questions I have solved. Next we will move to question number 16. So this is the see, so we have some recapitulation we got about integration. So now we will solve a problem regarding is the following function fxy equal to x cube minus 2y cube by x square plus y square, if xy not equals to 0, 0, if xy equals to 0, it is 0, continuous and possesses first order partial derivative at the origin. So this is the first question, that you have to prove that this function is continuous as well as possesses first order partial derivatives at the origin. And next you have to prove that whether the function is differentiable at the origin or not. Okay, so there are two questions. So without a delay, let's proceed. So for continuity, following function is fxy equals to x cube minus twice y cube by x square plus y square if xy not equals to 0 0 and fxy was 0 otherwise. So for continuity we will choose change of variables. So choose change of variables, x equal to r cosine theta and y equal to r sin theta. Please write these fxy terms in terms of r cos theta and r sin theta and try to prove that whether that if r cos theta or sin theta is tending to 0 or not. Is my question clear, Abhishek?
Yes, sir.
Just put instead of x, put r cos theta and y as r sin theta and then write in terms of the polar form. I am giving you quick 2 or 3 minutes. Just proceed and try to prove the continuity. Yes, Priyanka, you are, please, if you have any doubt, please.
Sir, in the question like we're solving,
Yes.
we can also use x axis and y axis also.
Well, which substitution you want to use?
Along x axis and along y axis.
Okay, so y equal to 0 and x equals to 0. You are saying, you are telling.
Yes.
Okay, so there will be minus. No, then you will get only 1, na? See, if you take y equal to 0, right? So you will get x. So when you take limit x tends to 0, you will get limit x tends to 0 x, and that will be 0.
Yes, sir.
And here you will get limit y. If you put x equals to 0, so here you will get minus 2y cube by y square. So that will be minus 2y. So then you have to take limit y tends to 0, and that will give you once again 0. So from using that you cannot conclude. Got my point?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Because the two limiting values should be unequal. So thank you. Thank you for asking. अभिषेक हो गया क्या? Okay. So limit fxy limit r tends to 0 r cube cos cube theta minus 2r cosine theta. You are just putting instead of x and y, you are just putting x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta, right? So if you just put fx limit r tends to 0, r Actually, sir, some fest is going on in IIT Ropar, and they are using loud music outside the hostel. And I am taking.
Downstairs.
Is it? Yeah, they just switched off the sound system. Is it clear right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry, people. Sorry, guys. Okay, so if you just put x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta, you will get r cube cos cube theta minus 2 r cube sin cube theta, r square cos square theta plus r square sin square theta. If you just this cos square theta plus sin square theta is 1, so that will be limit r tends to 0 r into cos cube theta minus 2 sin cube theta. Now cos cube theta minus 2 sin cube theta is a bounded function of theta, so if you just take limit r tends to 0, this limit r limiting value is 0. So the limiting value and the functional value are same at 0, 0. So that's why the function is continuous. So first term is over. Now we have to prove about the existence of partial derivatives. So we know how to take partial derivative. So first we will discuss about existence of fx at 0, 0. The first partial derivative was 0, 0. So limit h tends to 0, f of 0 plus h comma 0 minus f 0, 0. Hence this is equal to limit h tends to 0, f of h0 minus f0, 0 divided by h. So what is f h0? f h0 is h cube by h square. Just put y equal to 0. So you get h cube by h square, and h cube by h square, and there is 1h there, so you will get 1. So fx00 exists and the value is 1. Similarly, for the partial derivative fy at 0, 0. So you have to take increment in the y coordinate. So limit k tends to 0, f of 0k minus f00 divided by k. So this is nothing but limit k tends to 0, 1 by k minus 2k cube by k square, because we have to put here y equal to k, right? So if you put y equal to k here, you will get minus 2k cube by k square, and minus 2k cube by k square, that will eventually give you 1 by k, so that will eventually give you minus 2. So fy00 also exists, and the value of fy00 is minus 2. Now the last part of the question. The last part is the function differentiable at the origin. So this is also a hello Kotanton sir. Hello. Okay, sorry sir, sorry. Okay, I am just 1 second, I am discussing this partial derivative part. So for the partial derivative part, you have to put take increment in the x coordinate and keep y fixed. So at the point 0, 0 obviously. So this is limit h tends to 0, f of 0 plus h comma 0 minus f of 0, 0 by h. Simply limit h tends to 0, so this will be f h0. So this is f h0 minus f00 divided by h. So that will be 1 by h, and this f h0 is, you just take, instead of x cube put h, instead of x put h and y put 0. So you get h cube by h square. So that h cube by h square, and here it is 1 by h, you will get 1. So fx00 exists and fx00 is equals to 1. Now you have to determine the partial derivative fy at 0. So you want to determine fy at 0, 0. Similar procedure, you have to give increment in the y coordinate, and you have to keep x coordinate free. So this is f0k minus f00 divided by k. So that is 1 by k, and what is f0k? F0k is put x equals to 0 and y equal to k. You will get 0 cube minus 2k cube minus 0 square plus k square. So that will be minus 2k cube by k square. And minus 2k cube by k square means it is minus 2. Hence fy00 exists and fy00 equal to minus 2. Now, so partial derivatives, we have proved continuity, we have proved partial derivatives, now we will prove differentiability. So solution for the differentiability part. Limit why a two variable function is differentiable only when this limit is exists and this condition is necessary as well as sufficient condition, right? So this is limit hk tends to 0 0 f of 0 plus h 0 plus k minus f 0 0 divided by root over h square plus k square. Now this is nothing but f hk minus f 0 0 and f hk is, you put here f hk, you get h cube minus 2k cube by h square plus k square, right? So that is h cube minus 2k cube by h square plus k square. Once again use the polar coordinate transformation, use h equal to r cos theta, k equal to r sin theta. So this is 1 by r, this h square plus k square is r square cos square theta plus r square sin square theta, that means simply r square, and if you take square root you will take only 1 r left. So that is r cube, and that is cos cube theta minus 2 sin cube theta divided by r square. So r into r square is r cube in the denominator and also r cube in the numerator. So r cube cancel one another, so you will get cos cube theta minus 2 sin cube theta. Now this variable, this function, this form depends upon theta, so that's why f is not differentiable at 0 0, because that is not independent of theta, right? So that's why the function is not differentiable at 0 0. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Priyanka, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So question number 15. Find the total differential and the total increment of the function z equal to this at the point 2 1 for del x equals to 0.1 and delta y equal to 0.2. So we have to find the total differential and the total increment of the function z equal to x square y cube minus 4y at the point 2 1 for delta x equals to 0.1 and delta y equal to 0.2, right? So is the following function this continuous and positive first order partial derivative at the origin? So question number 15. So we have to find total differential as well as total increment. So it is a very easy problem. So we have to find the total differential and the total increment of the function z equal to x square y cube minus 4y at the point 2 1 for delta x equal to 0.1 and delta y equal to 0.2. So given function fxy is x square y cube minus 4y. So fx equal to 2xy cube. So first you determine the first order derivative. So first order derivative is 2xy cube, and with respect to y it is 3x square y square minus 4. Now what is fx21 at the point 21? It is 4. And what is 21 fy at the point 21? Because we have to determine at the point 21. So if y at 21 is, just put x equal to 2 and y equal to 1. That will be 3 into 4 into 1 minus 4. So 12 minus 4 is 8. So the total differential of the function at the given point 21 is fx at the point 21 into delta x plus fy at the point 21 into delta y. So that is 4 into 0.1 plus 8 into 0. So 0.4 plus 0.16. That is 0.4 plus 0.16. Okay, this will be 1.6. Okay, Abhishek, that should be 1.6. There is one typo. Okay, so that will be 0.4 plus 1.6, so that will be 2. So now we have to determine the total increment of the function at the given point 2 1. So what does it mean? Total increment means you have to determine if x plus delta x, y comma plus delta y minus fxy. This is the total increment. So delta x is 0.1, delta y equal to 0.2. So you have to determine f of 2.1 comma 1.2 minus f of 2.1. This is the total increment. And if you just determine the total increment, this is nothing but the increment. It will be, if you just do this algebraic calculation, it will get equal to 2.8. Is it clear? in this question we learned about differential and about increment. So what total differential means fx21 into delta x plus fy into delta y. And what does it mean by saying increment? Increment means f of x plus delta x, y plus delta y minus f of xy. So that will give you 2.8. Okay, please give me 1 or 2 minutes. Somebody is knocking my door. Okay. Now question number 14. This question number 14 is find the maximum value of the function fxyz 5x plus 2y plus 2z on the curve of the intersection of the plane x minus y plus z equal to 1 and cylinder x square plus y square plus equal to 1. Priyanka and Abhishek, is there any clue that comes into your mind seeing this question? Question 14.
Yes, yes.
So which procedure you have to take? Consider. Which procedure you have to consider? If there is some constant maxima, you have to determine the constant maxima because there is constraint. This x minus y plus z equal to 1 and x square plus y square equal to 1. So you have to determine the constant maxima. So for solving constant maxima, we have taught in mathematics 1 which procedure? Constant maxima. Kothon sir, how to determine constant maxima? Constant maxima, we learned the technique called Lagrange's multiplier method. Remember right now? That is Lagrange's multiplier method. So we will use that Lagrange's multiplier method. Arpita, you want to say something? Hello? Okay, Abhishek, can I give you 2 or 3 minutes to try at least? Will you try? Okay, so I request all of you to at least try question number 14, okay? Okay, I am just giving some clues first. Maybe you forgot. Okay, somebody is joining. Arpita, you can respond. It is actually a problem solving session. So we should interact with one another. So I request everybody, there are 4 or 5 people, so please respond. So find the maximum value of this function. So first we have to define the function. So that function is fxyz equal to 5x plus 2y plus z and the constants are gxyz and hxyz. Now we will use Lagrange's multiplier conditions. And from Lagrange's multiplier condition, there is the gradient of f equal to lambda into gradient of g plus mu into gradient of h. This is just Lagrange multiplier condition. And if you use the Lagrange's multiplier condition, gradient of f means del f del x comma del f del y, and gradient of g means del f del del f del x, del f del y and del f del z. So from del f del x part, you will get del f del x equal to lambda into del g del x plus mu into del x del x. So what is del f del x? Del f del x is 5, right? So what is del g del x? This is 1. So lambda into 1 is lambda, and this is del h del x. So del h del x is 2x. Del h del x is 2x. So this constant will get 5 equal to lambda plus 2 mu x. Now once again, since grad phi equal to lambda grad g h del y, so that is 2y. So that is plus 2 mu into y. Similarly, here you have to use del f del z equal to lambda into del g del z plus mu into del h del z. So del f del z is 1, del g del z is 1, and del h del z is 0. So that is will give you is delta f equal to lambda into 1. So that is 1 equal to lambda. So here from you have to eliminate this lambda and mu, these two constants. So lambda equal to 1 if you put, and if you solve from here you will get x equal to 2 by mu and y equal to 3 by 2 mu. Now just put this x and y constant here, x square plus y square minus 1. So if you put hxyz equal to 1, so x square plus y square equal to 1, so just from here you will get 4 plus 9 by 4, this is equal to mu square. So 25 by 4 equal to mu square, so mu equal to plus minus 5 by 2. So if mu equal to 5 by 2, then x and y becomes 4 by 5 and 3 by 5. Then z becomes, okay, I will go slow, sorry. So from here you get lambda equal to 1. So lambda equal to 1, if you put from here lambda equal to 1, you will get x equal to 2 by mu and y equal to 3 by 2 mu. So now if you replace this x and y in this hxyz constant, you will get hxyz equal to x square plus y square equals to 1. So that is 4 plus 9 by 4. Just this condition we have put here. So from here we get mu square equal to 25 by 4. So mu equal to plus minus 5 by 2. So if mu equal to 5 by 2, then xy equal to 4 by 5 comma 3 by 5. So further using x minus y plus z. So you used one constant here. Now one more constant is this, x minus y minus plus z equal to minus plus 1. So if you use this constant, so further using this constant you will get minus 4 by 5 plus 3 by 5 plus z equal to 1. So z equal to 6 by 5. Oh, sorry. So first you get z equal to 4 by 5. Now if mu there are two values, one is plus 5 by 2, another is minus 5 by 2. So put u equal to minus 5 by 2, then xy reduces to minus 4 by 5 minus 3 by 5 from this relation. And then further using, once again use this relation, x minus y plus z equal to 1. So from here on we will get minus 4 by 5 plus 3 by 5 plus z equal to 1, so z equal to 6 by 5. So you have two values of x, y, z. One is 4 by 5, 3 by 5, 4 by 5. Another one is minus 4 by 5, minus 3 by 5, 6 by 5. And in among these two values, you are expected to get the maximum value. So further from f 4 by 5, 3 by 5, 4 by 5, if you put this, you get 30 by 5 because the function f is here. The function f is 5x plus 2y plus z, right? So 5x plus 2y plus z, if you put the values of x, y, z, you will get it 6. And once again if you put minus 4 by 5, minus 3 by 5 and 6 by 5, these values in the function of f, this is the function of f, you will get minus 4. So which is the maximum in between them? Obviously 6 is the maximum value. So obviously 6 is the maximum value. So what will be the answer? Minus 4 or 6? The answer will be obviously 6. And in which coordinates you get the maximum? The maximum coordinates are 4 by 5, 3 by 5 and once again 4 by 5. Okay? Okay. So is it clear, this question? Krishna Swami sir, where you are getting trouble? Going very fast. Okay, so in which part you have some doubt? Okay, so okay. time. Abhishek, Priyanka and all, please solve question number 11. I am giving you 5 to 6 minutes. Please solve question number 11. I request all to please solve question number 11. You have to determine the maximum value on the line x plus 4 equal to 10. Abhishek, is 39 answer? Very easy. What you have to do, you can use Lagrange's method, otherwise just substitute instead of y, just substitute. Instead of y, substitute 10 minus x by 3 whole square. Otherwise, solve using Lagrange's multiply method. Give me some time. I am trying to connect my iPad. If it is connected, oh, my iPad don't have any charge. Sorry. पेपर में आया था ये दो क्वेश्चन. So if the function fxy equal to x square plus xy plus y square plus 1 by x plus 1 by y, x not equals to 0, y not equals to 0, attains its local minimum value at the point a b, then the value of a cube plus b cube is round up to 2 decimal places. So this is also one maximum minimum problem. Now try to solve question 10. Please try this question. I request all of you to please try this question. Please try this question. Del f del x and del f del y, and then equate them with 0 to get the critical points. First determine the critical points by computing del f del x and del f del y. I got 0, 0, 1, 1 and minus 1, minus 1. वन वन तो नहीं होगा, वन वन होगा. Yes sir. Okay, so first if you determine fx, then what will be fx? Fx is 4y minus 4x, right? Yes sir. And what is fy? Fy is 4x minus 4y cube. Yes sir. So the solutions of these two coupled equation are 0, 0, 1, 1 and minus 1, minus 1, right? Yes sir. So first I am writing down the critical points. So these are the critical points. So critical points are 0, 0, 1, 1 and minus 1, minus 1. Okay, critical points are 0, 0, 1, 1 and -1, -1. Now how you have to determine the characteristics? याद है आप लोगों को? Maximum minima of two variables. याद है आपको? Two maximum and one saddle points. Which are the maximum points? They are maxima. अभिषेक सेम है क्या? So what is fxx? Fxx is -4, right?
Yes, sir.
So okay. Okay. So you have to determine this fxx is -4. What is fxy? Fxy is 0. Fxy is +4, sorry. And what is fyy? Fyy is -12y square. So what is, so for the point 0, 0, so for the point 0, 0, fxx is less than 0, right? And what is fxx into fyy minus fxy whole square? This is fxx into, this is -16. So 0, 0 is a saddle point, right? 0, 0 is a saddle point. Okay, so 0, 0 is a saddle point, right? Hello? Okay, 0, 0 is a saddle point.
Yes, sir.
So 0, 0 is a saddle point. Now you have to determine the fate of 1, 1, right?
Yes, sir.
So 1, 1. So 1, 1 is a maxima.
Yes, sir.
So the answer will be 1, a point of local maximum and a saddle point. Because there are local maximum तो है और saddle point भी है, right? So the answer will be a point of local maximum and a saddle point.
Yes, sir.
इसको क्या कहोगे क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 को? LJ del y at 1, 0. If this is the implicit differentiation, आपको implicit differentiation लगाना पड़ेगा. ये भी मैंने क्लास में टीच किया था. सिखाया था इसको भी. तो कैसे करना होता है? आप कर दो इसे. Abhishek, is my voice is not clear? But there are no noise outside right now. Okay, these notes I will upload, and I think you can at least try these problems. Okay. So this question also one from GATE paper, GATE MA paper, 2020 GATE MA paper. So this is also one critical regarding one critical point and all. Okay. So I am moving to my next part. So today we will learn with concept about gradient, divergence and curl. So first, gradient of a scalar function. let fxyz be a scalar function and it is differentiable at each point xyz in a certain region of space. Then the gradient of f written as grad f or grad phi, grad f is defined as nabla of f. This symbol is called nabla. Okay, so what does this nabla f means? This means del f del x I hat plus del f del y j hat plus del f del j k hat. Okay, that is del f del x I hat plus del f del y j hat plus del f del j k hat. fx fy h j, this is a tuple, right? So that is how the gradient is defined. Any question regarding this gradient? Is this definition clear to you? Gradient is just taking differentiation, all the partial derivatives and all the partial derivatives in antiderivative vector form. So that is just gradient. So now I am giving you one exercise. Determine gradient of f where fxyz is 3x square yz. Just determine the gradient 3x square yz. Determine the gradient, please. xyz I cap plus 3x square z j cap plus 3x square y k cap, right? Okay, so what is just we are implementing the derivative of first this fxyz is 3x square yz. So first take del f del x. So first del f del x is 6xyz. Takes derivative with respect to x, we will get 6xyz. Then take derivative with respect to y, you will get 3x square z. Then take derivative with respect to z, you will get 3x square y. So just put them, so it's very easy. Next, determine grad f where fxyz is x cube sin y cos z. Determine find f nabla f where fxyz equal to x cube sin y cos z. Also determine this problem. Is x cube sin y cos z. So first you have to determine del f del x. And what is del f del x? Del f del x is 3x square sin y cos z. Del f del y is x cube sin y का derivative cos y z remain intact. Then you have to take derivative of cos z. Derivative of cos z is nothing but minus sin z. So the answer is 3x square sin y cos z I cap plus x cube cos y cos z z cap minus x cube sin y sin z k cap. Now these are the simple properties of gradient of a scalar function. So if f and g are two scalar functions, two functions of scalar variables x, y and z, let f and g be two functions of scalar variables x, y and z, and if gradient of f and gradient of g exists, then the gradient of the sum is gradient of the sum of the gradients. So this is what we call sum rule. So gradient का sum rule क्या है? The gradient of the functions, gradient of sum of the functions is sum of the gradients or minus it is same. और ये है product rule. Product rule is nothing but product rule में जैसे हम So the necessary and sufficient condition for the scalar function to be constant is that gradient of x is 0. So please remember that gradient is a function that takes every scalar potential or scalar function to a vector value, right? So now I request you to determine the gradient of fxyz equal to 3x square y minus 5 cube z square. Then find gradient of it at the point 1 minus 2 minus 1. Please solve it. Minus 9 j cap minus 16 k cap, right? Okay. Then you have to determine del f del y, then you have to determine del f del z. So fxyz is 3x square y minus y z square. So what will be del f del x? This term only contains x, so that will be 6xy. So del f del x at 1 minus 2 minus 1 is minus 12. Just put instead of x 1 and del f del y. So what is f? F is 3x square y minus y z square. So if you take del f del y, this is 3x square minus 3y square z square. So del f del y equal to 3 minus 12. Just put 1 minus 2 minus 1. You get minus 9. And del f del z is minus y cube z. So what is del f del z? This is minus 16. Just put there. So gradient of f at minus 1 minus 2 minus 1 is minus 12i minus 9j minus 16k. Now suppose r is the position vector. Suppose r had r vector is x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap such that modulus of r is square root of x square plus y square plus z square. gradient of r. So how to solve it? See, gradient of fr. So just take, so this is a function of r. So first you have to determine del f del x. So what is del f del x? Using chain rule, it becomes del f del r into del r del x. And then once again, r is a function of x, y, z, and f is a function of r. So first you have to use chain rule. Del f del r dot del r del x plus del f del r del r del y j cap plus del f del r dot del r del z k cap. So now take del f del r common. So if you take del f del r common, we get del r del x plus del r del y j cap plus del r del j k cap. Now del f del r is nothing but f prime r into nabla r. That is the proof of this theorem. Is it clear, or once again I have to discuss it?
Yes, repeat, sir.
Okay. So f is a function of r. This r means so it is del f del r dot del r del x. You have to use chain rule because f is a function of r and r itself is a function of x, y, z. So del f del r dot del r del x I cap plus you have to determine del f del y. So use chain rule. Del f del r dot del r del y j cap. Once again use chain rule. Del f del r dot del r del z. Now take del f del r outside. So that del f del r outside you will get del r del x I cap plus del r del y j cap plus del r del j k cap. So it becomes del f del r nabla of r. So we will get from here this del f del r is nothing but f prime r, derivative with respect to r. So we will get f prime r into nabla r. So that is a proof. Next, you have to prove that gradient of 1 by r is minus r vector by r cube. So how to prove? So gradient means you have to write in, you have to determine derivatives. This here f is nothing but 1 by r. Okay, here f is nothing but 1 by r. So first del del x of 1 by r. So del del x of 1 by r. So del del x of 1 by r is minus 1 by r square del r del x. Now what is r? R is square root of x square plus y square plus z square. So that will eventually give you 2x by 2 square root of x square plus y square plus z square. ये जगह समझ में आया? It is nothing but partial derivative of del r del x, because del del x of 1 by r you have to determine. Now del del x of 1 by r at first is minus 1 by r square into del r del x. Just chain rule. So that is minus 1 by r square into, so what is del r del x? Del r del x, r is equal to square root of x square plus y square plus z square. So what is del r del x? Del r del x is 2x by 2 into square root of x square plus y square plus z square. So del x of 1 by r is minus x by r cube. So Priyanka, this is that symmetry. So now it is this r function is symmetric about x, y and z, right? So you need not to determine this del x once again. So what is this del del y of 1 by r? It is minus y by r cube, and del del z of 1 by r is minus z by r cube. So if you just write now gradient of r is del del x of 1 by r I cap plus del del y of 1 by r j cap plus del del z of 1 by r k cap. Now if you just put the values, you will get minus x I cap minus y j cap minus z k cap divided by r cube. So that will be your answer, that minus r vector divided by r cube, because r is nothing but, r vector is nothing but x y cap plus y j cap plus z k cap. Now there is one exercise that delta r to the power n is n r to the power n minus 2 r vector. So that you have to try. Here we have put for minus 1, right? If you put instead of n, you put minus 1, you will get this result. Now you have to prove it for any n. Okay, is my question clear to you? You have to prove it for any n. I hope you can easily solve it. So you can try that gradient of r to the power n is n r to the power n minus 2 r vector. So you can try this problem. उसको ट्राई करना. Okay. Also I am giving you, probably I got some exercise. Just give me some time. Don't leave, just give me 1 or 2 more time. So something which I want to discuss. Okay. So the operators may be the title are built out of this del operator, gradient, divergence as well as curve. So this operator, what does the operator mean? If you operate in a function f with this operator nabla, you will get I cap del del x plus j cap del del y plus k cap del del z. In differential equation we learned about the operator, differential operator d, right? So here we want to operate this del operator on a function. So here see how gradient works. So compute the gradient fxyz equal to x y e to the power y square z. So gradient of f, so you have to operate this entire del operator on this function x y e to the power y square z. So what if you operate this nabla operator on f, you will get nabla of f equal to I cap del f del x plus j cap del f y del y plus k cap del f del z equal to this. Now if you take del f del x, first you have to take a del f del x. So del f del x of this function x y e to the power y square z, if you take, you will get y e to the power y square z. Now if you want to compute derivative of with respect to y, what you will get? First you have to take derivative of this part, this xy part. If you take derivative here, you will get x e to the power y square z, and then you have to take derivative of this e to the power y square z, because there is one more y involved here. So that will be first xy into this e to the power y square z. If you take derivative, you will get with respect to y square, you will get this derivative to be 2y. And next you have determined derivative with respect to z. Now I think there is one typo here. It will be 2xy square into z. है ना? इसमें z is missing, so there will be one z. No, I will edit that part and before uploading. Okay, so there is x e to the power y square z plus 2x y square into z e to the power y square z, and here you will get x y cube e to the power y square z, that is nothing but x y cube e to the power y square z. Another is the divergence. So what does जैसे gradient when a gradient is applied to a scalar function, what you will get? You will get a vector function, right? So divergence is similar sort of thing for vector valued function. If you take the dot product of this nabla operator, so this nabla operator is a vector, right? If you take the nabla operator, this divergence of f on a vector, you will get a scalar. So when you apply divergence, point to note that the function on which you are applying the divergence will be a vector valued function. So compute the divergence of this. So divergence is nothing. The divergence means divergence of f, you will get a scalar function. So determine del del x of this first term, x square plus y, you will get 2x, del del y of the second term, 2y, and del del of this z square plus x, you will get 2z. It is just the dot product operator and the function, vector function. It is just the dot product. Is it clear, Abhishek? Okay. So what is the divergence of a vector field? If you think of the field as the velocity field of a fluid flowing in 3 dimensions, then divergence of f equals to 0 means the fluid is incompressible for any closed region. That means the amount of fluid flowing in through the boundary equals to the amount of flowing out. That means there is no that means that if you consider an infinitesimal volume, that volume is not containing any sort of fluid. जो fluid अंदर आ रहा है, that is also outside जा रहा है, ठीक है? So there is one theorem called the Gauss divergence theorem, and we will apply this Gauss divergence theorem in the next class. The Gauss divergence theorem is one of the big theorems of vector integral calculus. Now next is the curl f. We got operator, we got the dot operator. Now curl is nothing but the cross product. कर्ल समझ में आया? कर्ल का मतलब है डाइवर्जेंस जैसे डॉट प्रोडक्ट है. कर्ल का मतलब है उस ऑपरेटर जो लैम्डा ऑपरेटर है, दैट लैम्डा ऑपरेटर इज अप्लाइड अपॉन इन विद अ क्रॉस, मतलब क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट. So more specifically, suppose f is this, then the cross product of two vectors is a vector. So curl makes a vector field to another vector field. So gradient takes a scalar function to a vector function. Divergence takes a vector function to a scalar function, and this curl takes a vector to another vector. So now just compute curl f is this. So curl of f is I j k. All you know how to determine a cross b. So instead of curl of a means you have to just put operator in the middle. So we put the operator in the middle, just solve the determinant, we will get it 1 minus 1 1. Just compute this curl on your own. Compute this using just the location. This is the location for curl. You can simply use this location. Now that is one fundamental proof, that you have to prove that curl of grad phi equal to 0 vector. Just try using the definition that curl of grad f equal to 0. Please, curl of grad f equals to 0, try to prove this theorem. to 0? Okay, that is that I am simply putting the so this is just you have to determine first gradient of f, then you have to operate it the curl operator, and since if you just manually solve, you will get that it is nothing but the zero vector, right? Just go through this definition. So here you have to just operate formally, factoring f out of the last row. See, so this is curl of grad f is curl of grad f. So ijk, the definition of curl is in the middle row you have to keep del del x, del del y, del del z, and in the last row you have to write the gradient of f function. The gradient of f means del f del x I cap ijk. So in the last row you have to write the function, and what is the function? The function is del f del x, del f del y, and del f del z. So this is the determinant. Now this f you can keep it outside the determinant because at last you have to operate them. Now you can simply see here vector calculus, the curl of grad f is equal to 0. Okay, is it clear, Abhishek? Okay. So please solve question number 9. If 4, 0 and 0 minus half are critical points of this function where alpha beta belongs to R, then okay, थोड़ा इसको तो अच्छा चलिए थोड़ा इजी क्वेश्चन देता हूँ. क्वेश्चन 6 को सॉल्व कीजिए. फाइंड ऑल द सैडल पॉइंट्स ऑफ एफ एक्स वाई इक्वल टू एक्स स्क्वायर वाई स्क्वायर माइनस एक्स स्क्वायर माइनस वाई स्क्वायर. One will also be there. So there are total 5 saddle points. Is it true?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you for joining. Thank you. So we will meet in next Sunday. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Krishna Swami sir, thank you for joining.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you have any problem or what I have discussed today? You want to ask anything? are no question. Okay, bye, see you.